Let me tell you a story that might feel a little too familiar. 5 years ago, you were earning around $42,000 a year. You were living in a small apartment, driving an old used car, maybe a Honda Civic or something similar, and you kept telling yourself, man, if I could just make $70,000, life would finally feel easier. I'd be comfortable. I'd finally breathe. And back then, it genuinely felt like that number would solve everything. Now, fast forward to today. You did what you were supposed to do. You worked harder. You stayed late. You took on extra responsibilities. You climbed the ladder. And now you're making $78,000 a year, almost double what you used to make. Your apartment is nicer. Your car is newer. You eat out more often. You upgraded your lifestyle. And yet, here you are, watching a video about money stress, feeling the exact same pressure you felt back when you were making $42,000. Actually, if you're being honest, you might feel even more stressed now. And the craziest part? You're already thinking, okay, if I could just hit $100,000, then I'd finally be comfortable. Sound familiar? Yeah, I thought so. My name is Bobby, and I spend way too much time thinking about one question. Why does more money never feel like enough? If you've ever hit a new income milestone and still felt like you're stuck emotionally, or if you've ever wondered why your bank account is growing but your peace of mind isn't, then you're in the right place. And if this helps you even a little, hit subscribe and drop a like, because we're going to talk about something that almost nobody understands. You're not failing, you're experiencing psychology. First, I need you to hear this clearly. This isn't because you're bad with money. This isn't because you're ungrateful. And it definitely isn't because you need to grind harder and chase even more income. What you're experiencing is one of the most researched psychological patterns in human behavior. It's called the hedonic treadmill. And once you understand how it works, you'll finally realize why you've been sprinting toward happiness without ever actually reaching it. Even better, you'll learn how to step off. What is the hedonic treadmill? The hedonic treadmill, also called hedonic adaptation, is a concept psychologists have been studying for decades. It became popular in the 1970s when researchers Philip Brickman and Donald Campbell introduced the idea. Here's the simple version. Humans adapt quickly. Something amazing happens, you feel great for a while, then you return to your normal level of happiness. Something terrible happens, you feel crushed for a while, then you slowly return to a similar baseline. And this isn't just a motivational quote. This is real research. One of the most famous studies in this area was published in 1978 in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology. Researchers found that lottery winners were not significantly happier than other people just 1 year later. Even worse, some lottery winners actually reported less enjoyment from everyday life than before. Think about that. People who won life-changing money ended up enjoying small pleasures less than normal people. That's not an income problem. That's a brain problem. And your brain runs this exact same program on every raise, every promotion, every upgrade, every level up in lifestyle. At first, it feels exciting, but after a few months, it becomes normal. That new salary, just your salary. That upgrade, just your new baseline. Your brain isn't designed to stay impressed. It's designed to adapt and then crave more. The income happiness trap. The numbers are wild. Now here's where it gets interesting. In 2010, a major study by Daniel Kahneman and Angus Deaton, Princeton, analyzed more than 450,000 responses and found something powerful. Emotional well-being rises with income, but only up to about $75,000 per year. After that point, more money didn't improve day-to-day happiness in a measurable way. Now, yes, $75,000 in 2010 isn't the same today. Adjusted for inflation, that's closer to $95,000 to $100,000 now. But then a newer study in 2021 by Matthew Killingsworth, Wharton, found something slightly different. Happiness can keep increasing with income, but the increase becomes smaller and smaller. Meaning, going from $50,000 to $100,000 might change your life, but going from $100,000 to $200,000, that's a lot more effort for a much smaller emotional reward. You double the income, but you don't double the happiness. You might double the hours, stress, pressure, and responsibility just to get a tiny upgrade in how you feel. That's diminishing returns applied to your entire life. And yet nobody tells you this when they're screaming, hustle harder, stack more money, keep grinding. Because honestly, There's an entire industry built around keeping you running on that treadmill. How lifestyle inflation quietly destroys raises. Now let's make this real. Not psychology, not theory. Real numbers. Imagine you're 30 years old earning $60,000. After taxes, you might take home around $47,000 per year. That's about $3,900 a month. Your essentials: rent, utilities, groceries, transport, insurance. Let's say all that costs about $2,400. So you've got about $1,500 left. You move into a nicer apartment because you deserve it. That's plus $500. You upgrade your car because the payment is only a bit more. That's plus $150. You eat out more because you're busy. That's plus $300. You add subscriptions, buy nicer clothes, join a gym you barely use, and suddenly your expenses jump to like $3,800. So now you've got about $1,400 left. Read that again. You got a $20,000 raise, and now you have less breathing room. That's not bad luck. That's lifestyle inflation. And lifestyle inflation is the hedonic treadmill showing up in your bank account. Even high earners are stressed, and it's not just the economy. Now here's the part that should scare you. According to a 2023 report from Bank of America, 52% of Americans earning $100,000 to $150,000 say they're living paycheck to paycheck. That's people earning over six figures. And if you think, okay, maybe that's only in expensive cities, there's more. A 2022 survey from PYMNTS found that 36% of people earning over $200,000 also say they live paycheck to paycheck. At some point, we have to stop pretending this is only about inflation. Because if someone earning $200,000 is still drowning, it's not only economics, it's psychology. Their life expanded to match whatever income came in. They're still sprinting, still stressed, still chasing the next number because the treadmill has no finish line. That's the trap. So, are we supposed to want nothing? Now you might be thinking, okay, so is the solution to never want anything, never upgrade, live like a monk? No, that's not the point. The goal isn't to kill desire. The goal is to stop wanting things automatically. There's a huge difference between upgrading your home because you genuinely value comfort, privacy, and space versus upgrading because that's what people do when they earn more. One is intentional. The other is autopilot. The treadmill runs on autopilot. It convinces you that more equals happier, upgrades equals success, next level equals peace. But the truth is, your current self adapts to everything, and your future self will adapt too. You can't win by running harder. You only win by changing the rules. The experience gap, why experiences beat stuff. Here's a powerful concept. Experiential purchases create longer-lasting happiness than material purchases. Travel, concerts, learning a skill, time with people you love. Why? Because experiences don't become background noise the way objects do. You can't get used to a couch. You can't get used to a memory. Experiences often involve connection, and connection is one of the strongest predictors of well-being. Experiences also become part of your identity. You are your stories. You are not your car, your watch, or your square footage. A 2014 study in psychological science found that people get more happiness from anticipating experiences than anticipating material purchases. And experiences create longer positive emotions afterward too. And here's the funny part. Experiences are often cheaper. A weekend camping trip might cost $200, but the SUV you bought for those trips cost $40,000. A cooking class might cost $100, but the kitchen renovation you stopped noticing after 3 months cost $15,000. We overspend on stuff that fades and underspend on things that actually stick. That's not just bad psychology. That's bad math. The arrival fallacy, the biggest lie we believe. Now let's talk about something that quietly ruins lives. The arrival fallacy. It's the belief that once I reach that goal, I'll finally be happy. Once I hit six figures. Once I buy the house. Once I hit $1 million net worth. Once I can retire. The lie isn't that those things don't matter. The lie is believing happiness lives at the destination. Research shows people are happiest when they're making progress toward meaningful goals, not when they achieve them. The anticipation of the vacation can feel better than the vacation. The building process feels more fulfilling than the finish line. So if you're postponing happiness until you arrive financially, you're making a brutal mistake. You're sacrificing the journey for a destination that won't feel the way you think it will. I've talked to people who grinded for 20 years, reached financial independence, and immediately felt empty because their brain adapted. The goal was gone, and the happiness they expected didn't show up. How to step off the treadmill. Practical. So what do you do? How do you build wealth without falling into the trap? Here are 3 practical steps. 1. Create a lifestyle anchor. This is a rule you set in advance. How much of every future raise goes to lifestyle upgrades, and how much goes to investing? For most people, a 70/30ths or 50/50th split works well. Example, you get a $10,000 raise. $3,000 can go to lifestyle improvements. $7,000 goes straight into investments. This stops lifestyle inflation from silently eating your progress. And the upgrades you do choose feel better because you chose them intentionally. 2. Practice negative visualization. Sounds dark, but it's incredibly freeing. Stoic philosophers have used this for 2,000 years. You imagine losing what you currently have: your job, your apartment, your car, your lifestyle, not to torture yourself, but to break the adaptation, because adaptation is what makes you numb to your own blessings. Studies show this can increase gratitude and appreciation. Try it once a week, just 10 minutes. Imagine losing your job and going back to what you earned 5 years ago. Feel it, then open your eyes and realize you still have what you have. That gap is gratitude. And gratitude is one of the only real antidotes to hedonic adaptation. 3. Optimize for time, not money. This is where most people get it backwards. They trade time for money, then use money to buy small conveniences that save tiny amounts of time. Bad trade. A 2017 study in PNAS, Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, found that people who spend money on time-saving purchases report higher life satisfaction than those who spend on material goods. But here's the real insight. The ultimate time-saving purchase is financial freedom. Every dollar you invest is a dollar that buys future time back. At a 4% withdrawal rate, every $25 invested gives about $1 of annual passive income. Do that consistently. Let compounding work. And eventually, you don't have to run anymore. You step off the treadmill, not by killing ambition, but by redirecting it. Instead of running to buy more stuff, you run to buy your time back. That race actually has an ending. Final message: the hedonic treadmill isn't evil. It's a survival feature. It kept humans motivated in a world of scarcity. But now we're running ancient software in a world of abundance, surrounded by advertising designed to exploit it. Every ad is whispering, "You're not there yet. One more purchase, one more upgrade, one more raise," and your brain adapts to everything good that happens, so that message feels true. You're not broken. You're human. But being human also means you can notice the programming and choose differently. You can decide that enough is a number, not a feeling. You can track lifestyle creep. You can invest in experiences over things, time over money, progress over arrival. You can step off the treadmill, not because you gave up on success, but because you realized success was never waiting at the end of an endless sprint. It was learning how to walk away from a race that was never designed to be won. If this video helped you see money differently, hit like and subscribe for more content that challenges how you think about your finances. I'll see you in the next one.